Yeah, hi friends, this is Wasim again, and today we are going to discuss question number 5. This is the last video in the series of 5 videos where we will be discussing question number 5. And as you know earlier, we have solved 4 questions of sample exam uploaded by NEBOSH on their website. This is the last question being solved here, so let's start. So friends, looking at the question, our task 5 is safety culture. So here we have an idea from where the question came, and the examiner is clearly telling us this is a question taken from your IGC 1 element number 3, which is where we discuss safety culture. The question exactly is based on the scenario only, comment on the current health and safety culture in the company. So guys, it is very clear that you are not going to look for other sources of information much. As we are given certain information in the scenario, we'll be sticking to scenario, we'll be doing some research on the scenario, and we will come out the major points highlighted in the scenario to formulate our answers. So guys, here is some of the information I have taken from scenario which is somehow related to the question asked. And if we look at the first point here, poor management commitment, safety leadership, this is one of the key to the organization for health and safety culture development. And looking at the attitude of the contract manager, where he is not ready to talk to anyone, he is not accessible, he is irritable, his behavior is very rude to the people down there. So it shows us that the management commitment is missing here and safety leadership is very poor, which somehow gives us an idea that safety culture is not prevailing in the organization. It's very poor safety culture. Going to the second point here, unsafe condition, poor risk assessment in parking area. So we are given some information by the examiner here in scenario that even the workplaces, people working are they are not safe, they are not safely designed, they are not risk assessed, and even the situations going on in these workplaces are not reported to the management. Unsafe conditions remain, unsafe acts are going on, and it is leading to poor safety culture. So this is also some of the point you can connect it with the topic here. Looking at third point, near miss, unsafe act, poor safety behaviors. This also gives you an idea that recently there was a near miss, and this happened because of the unsafe behavior of the worker who was reckless. Also, they had a hard talk, both of the workers, and it shows their attitude towards health and safety is very poor. Even they are not ready to report this event. So all of these points are, negative points towards health and safety culture. We can cope up, we can get some information on these points and we can discuss it in detail. Here is another point highlighted, repeated incidents, poor reporting and investigation. So, in this scenario, it is highlighted that these incidents are frequently happening within the organization and they are repeating incidents. It shows that nobody take care. These incidents are not reported, and even if reported, nobody care, nobody put controls, nobody try to find out the root causes and the underlying causes and the immediate causes of these incidents to further control them. And even there is no investigation procedure in place. So it is very clear that poor safety culture is persisting in the organization. Another point says poor safety culture, management commitment. When this event was discussed with the management and looking at the manager's attitude down there, he is not ready to accept that things are in the wrong direction. He is saying that these incidents are repeating, but no major issue arise. So let people sort it out. So they are not owning safety. They are not taking any ownership of health and safety within the organization, which is again poor management commitment and poor safety culture. Another point in the scenario shows here that they are not taking anything seriously. There are unsafe conditions, there is poor lighting, but nobody is reporting these unsafe conditions. Nobody is noticing all of these unsafe conditions which remain for long time and which are leading to the incidents. If we look at the second point on this slide, poorly communicated HSE policy, lack of commitment. This is very important point to be discussed here with regards to health and safety culture. That health and safety policy is not visible at all. Even on any notice board, upon investigation, they failed to provide HSE policy. And later, they came up with the policy statement, but as per the management, this policy is very important document and it is only used when required by third parties for submissions. So it shows how important they think safety is within the organization. They are keeping a very important document, but they are not communicating down to the people there. They are not communicating health and safety policy and procedure to their workers to be followed on site. So again, poor communication leads to poor safety culture. So guys, another very important point here is lack of commitment and irregular or missing review frequencies. These are very important to be discussed with regards to health and safety culture. So as per scenario information, it is clear that they don't have very active arrangement for health and safety committees. They had last committee meeting 1 year earlier, so they are not frequently meeting. Their health and safety committee meetings are not very frequent, and that's why the issues arising on site are not being discussed by this committee on regular basis to be controlled. Even the review of health and safety policy they mentioned in their policy is after 10 years. So we all know that health and safety policy must be reviewed every year because you are going to put some new targets, new objectives for the next year. It must be reviewed, and we all know that in any case, if you have an incident, if you have a near miss, if you have high potential near misses and incidents, or if you have a process change, technology change, in people change, major change in the management structure, in all of those cases you need to review your health and safety policy. But in their case, they are saying that after 10 years they are going to review their health and safety policy. So all of these points, if you look at these points, you got a very strong evidence to say there is no safety culture or very poor safety culture prevailing within the organization. So after doing some research on scenario, we are in a very good position where we got an idea that there is very poor safety culture or no safety culture prevailing. In our previous slides, we discussed several points which are evident of poor safety culture within the organization. Now the second part of the answer here, it's a mind mapping on how you are formulating your answer, what you are going to discuss in the introduction part, in the body and in the conclusion of the answer. So let's start with this part. You need to start with introduction, and it is always a good idea to talk a little bit about safety culture, what a safety culture is. And we all know these are norms, beliefs, values, attitudes, behaviors of people within an organization towards health and safety, how they look at health and safety, how important they think health and safety is, and whether they are giving top priority to health and safety matters or not. This is called a safety culture. Now, this culture can be positive as well as negative also. So, you need to discuss all of these things here a little bit in the first paragraph, and you need to highlight a little bit on the indicators of safety culture. What are the indicators through which you will know that health and safety culture is a positive or negative thing in the organization. So if you remember in your course material, these indicators are clearly mentioned, that the management commitment, the communication, the trainings, the consultations, the committee meetings, and all of those things, if they are prevailing in a very good shape within the organization, they will be developing safe culture, good culture. And if they are missing, then it's a poor safety culture. So just you need to highlight a few things about health and safety culture indicators here to give an idea to the examiner that yes, you know how to evaluate safety culture of an organization. You have all the ingredients of indicators of culture, and you understand what safety culture is. Then going to the body of the answer, now you need to connect the scenario highlighted points with the indicators of safety culture to make your point of current safety culture within the organization. So now it is very easy. For example, we take one point from management commitment where we discuss that the management is not at all committed looking at the behavior of the manager at site, and he is not mingling up with people and all that. So it shows us clearly that there is a very poor management commitment. There is a lack of safety leadership at site. So you can try discussing this point in detail, and you can prove that there is a poor safety culture. This is one of the indicator which is indicating poor safety culture within the organization. So all of those points which we discussed in our previous slides, you will talk one by one on all of those points and prove that there is a poor safety culture because of this reason, because of that reason, which you highlight in the scenarios. This is what your examiner need exactly. You want to know whether there is a positive safety culture or negative, and if there is negative safety culture, how you are going to prove by connecting it with the scenario information. Now the conclusion part, summary of organizational current safety culture you need to discuss here. So let's start one by one and we will see what we are going to do in the introduction, body and the conclusion part. So friends, I put all those major points, discussion points, which you are going to discuss in the body of the answer. So if you look at one by one, missing management commitment leading to poor safety culture within the organization. Repeated incidents, near misses due to poor reporting and investigation is an evidence of poor safety culture also. Poor communication of HSE management, HSE policy, and even the management system is missing also. No consultation arrangement provided by management, poor safety related behaviors of workers, inadequate risk assessments or poor risk assessments, and poor safety committee meeting arrangements. As we discussed, they are not meeting frequently. Review of HSE policy within 10 years is again showing very poor safety culture. HSE policy is considered only a document to be submitted to third parties, not to be implemented at site properly. And unsafe workplaces, poor design of parking area, poor elimination, poor risk assessment. Safety is seen as a low priority by management. These are all points which are supporting your answer. And now these points you need to take one by one and talk in detail because the question is 15 marks question. You need to put your detailed information on each and every point here to prove that there is a negative safety culture prevailing. So at the end, guys, in conclusion part, you can summarize whatever you have discussed on top, and you can say, looking at the above points highlighted, organization is involved in clear breach of health and safety regulations. There is no safety culture prevailing in the organization. No one is committed to their moral duties to keep safety at higher priorities, neither employer nor employees. So HSC is first of all moral duty of everyone. It's a management commitment. It's a legal duty also. So when we talk about legal duties, you might remember all of those regulations, ILO C155R164 and everything you covered in your course material. All of these legal bindings bind an employer to provide certain health and safety arrangements within the organization. They must have policy, they must have procedure, proper implementations. So looking at your management system, basically, you need to do each and everything, even the policy development and then arrangements and then implementations, plannings and then corrective actions and then checking your performance and audit. So each and everything is important and should be taken up by employers, but in this case, everything is missing here. So there is no safety culture or very poor safety culture. So you need to conclude your answer in this way. So guys, in this question, there are two important things to be kept in mind. First of all, looking at the marks, 15 marks, you need to provide really detailed and good information to the examiner to justify getting 15 marks. And secondly, you need to stick to the scenario itself. Only you need, if you want to get an idea on the indicators of safety culture, you can consult the book or some digital media. But rest of the information, you are talking always on the scenario. You have to connect it with the scenario. Guys, hope you understand question number 5 very well, and hope it would help you to come up with the proper answers. I suspect you will have a question on safety culture in the exam, and I would suggest you to just focus on this topic. All topics are very important, but safety culture is a wider terminology, and we have seen many times NEBOSH going for these corporate discussions on safety cultures and policies and procedures. So uh, just stick to the information provided, and just try to come up with the better answers. Hope you enjoyed, and this is the last video. We'll be coming up with another video on which we will be discussing how to formulate, how to prepare your GC2 and 3 report, risk assessment report, and how to make an attractive report to get maximum marks, which may further help you in getting distinctions and credits also. So we'll be discussing in detail in a short time on GC2 and 3 report, risk assessment report. Stay tuned, stay connected, and best of luck for all of my candidates who are going for exam tomorrow. And hope you will be succeeding, inshallah. Thank you very much. See you soon.